Mindy Turner with the New Mexico State University Cooperative Extension Service, your Curry County Family and Consumer Science agent. Welcome back to my kitchen. Hopefully you were able to take part in our last series. We talked about summery salads and using up some of those canned goods that you had on hand to put together some different dishes that you could have some new and fresh ideas in your home. This series, we're going to talk a little bit about some semi-homemade stuff, and that's that stuff that starts with something pre-made, that then you add your little spin to it, your part on it, and come up with something new and wonderful that you can share. A lot of these things are great to share at potluck. They're the great things that just if you need something quick and easy to have on hand for you and your family, that you could put that together, because it's going to start with that pre-made piece that you can use. Sometimes pre-made items are a little more expensive. Depends on what you're looking at and how you want to pull those things together. But also remember, your time is a resource as well. So you kind of got to balance out the timing versus the cash and what that needs to look like for you and your family. That we have some great resources through Extension to help you do that. One of our featured publications for this month is going to be Managing Your Money. Where do I begin? This is Circular 591. You can get this. You can go through the Curry County website, curryextension.nmsu.edu. Click on Extension Publications. That's going to take you to our state website with New Mexico State University, where you'll see all different types of subject matters and areas, and you can specifically search for this publication as we talk about finances and money management and some of those things we need to consider, particularly in putting our food together. Food is one of our largest expenses to nourish and keep our family happy and healthy, and we struggle a lot with the cost versus the nutrition of those things. So let's get started with a few things that we have on hand today. We're going to start off with appetizers, things that you can start with pre-made, make a little bit your own, and then I'm going to call them appetizers for the purpose of our theme, but you're going to see that a lot of these things could go on and be your healthy snack. They could be actually your meal if you wanted it to be. So think about it in that context. We're going to start off by making some of our own seasoning mix. Anything that we work with pre-made, you go to the store, you buy a package of something that's already prepared, so you can stick it in the microwave, throw it in the oven. Typically it's really high in sodium, so that's something to watch for. Check your labels, look for things that are labeled low sodium, less fat, reduced fat, things like that. When you go to pick out what items, along with considering that cost, consider some of those nutritional elements as well. So when we make things on our own, we can cut back on some of that sodium and what we're adding back into our diet. It's also why when we talk about it, we may not want to use 3 or 4 pre-made things to put together, because that's just going to exponentially affect your sodium intake on those dishes. So let's talk a little bit about seasoning. Adding seasoning, other than a lot of times salt, to your items is what makes them yummy, what makes our favorite things, the things that we really like. So we're going to talk a lot about seasonings as we go throughout this series. The one I have for you today, this is taco seasoning. You can buy packages of taco seasoning at the store. You can buy it in the bottle. You can buy it in the little paper packet that is already put together for you. Again, it's going to be kind of high in sodium. You really have to watch what's put in there. And in some cases, it's very expensive to put that together. What you're going to see today, I did buy some new and fresh, because I wanted to refresh what I had in my spice cabinet. If you don't need to do that, you may find you have a lot of these things already on hand where you can mix it up and you've already got it made and it didn't cost you anything in that case. The other piece of it is what I purchased, which was all under $5 to put this together, can then be used for other things, or you can make enough of this particular seasoning mix to use for a long time. It also makes a great gift if you package it really cute. For our next series, we're going to be talking about some inexpensive gifts, things that you can put together for the holidays, for those neighbors, friends, teachers, things like that. So keep all of that in mind as we run through this really quick. It's very simple. So we're going to start off. This is 2 tablespoons of chili powder. The other great thing about putting together a seasoning mix, all of your measurements are going to be ish. Pretty close to this. If you like one flavor a lot more than another, don't put that in there. Leave them out or balance them out in some way so that you have something you like and you enjoy. So if we start off, chili powder. I went ahead and put these two in the same bowl. This is a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. Garlic powder, not garlic salt, again, because that's an additional sodium that we don't want to add. If you wanted, you could add some crushed red pepper to give it a little more heat. Depends how spicy you want it to be. My family tends to not want it quite as hot, so we're not going to put those in today. Dried oregano. Now you can see there's not a lot of oregano, but it gives it that nice little tang to it that we have gotten used to within our Southwestern meals. Okay, so that was just a 1/4 teaspoon of oregano. We're going to have 1 teaspoon of paprika. Okay. Paprika is a spice, we hear the name a lot. It's this beautiful red color, and it's in a lot of things, and a lot of times we don't even realize it. I know I had one in the cabinet and can't even remember the last thing that I put it in. But it's also, again, it's great for working with that chili powder to kind of combine those flavors and give you just a really great Southwestern taste. Then we're going to do 2 teaspoons of cumin. The recipe actually calls for 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm just going to use 1. And what I'm actually using today, this is a low sodium salt. You can look for that wherever you shop for your groceries. It has less sodium, and it's basically, it comes from potassium. So it's a great source of potassium to add into your diet, but it gives you less sodium with still that nice little salty taste, that flavor that helps blend everything together. There's also, y'all are looking at that going, but it's black. There's also a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper in there that we're going to add to mix it all together. So again, I dug out my clear bowl so you guys could kind of see how all this comes together. Pretty simple. It's all dry, and then we just mix it up till it's mixed well, and you have your own taco seasoning. Again, if you doubled all of this, you'd have twice as much, because this is plenty for several things, and it's going to last a while. If you seal this in an airtight container, you're going to get about 3 months to use it, because again, it's all dried ingredients. You just want to make sure it is airtight, that it doesn't get wet. So when I say airtight container, that can be a lot of different things. One of the things, when you do go to clean out that spice cabinet and you find some maybe expired, or they're right down to the empty part, if you wash out those containers and then you relabel them, that's a great way for you to store, again, to either gift or to keep just for yourself, your spices and your items. Today I'm using these little prep bowls. I had everything measured out in those. They have lids that seal tight. So that's another great way to do it. You can also purchase plasticware that has, different sizes with the sealable tops. That's a great way to do it. You can also just put it in a plastic bag that zips closed tight at the top. So however you would like to store it, but because it is dried ingredients, does not have to be refrigerated. You can refrigerate it if that makes you feel better about keeping it. I know some people who do that. So one of the things that now we could make with this seasoning that I have to show you, again, talking appetizers, thinking about your pre-meal, what you might want to have. This is one of my favorite dishes. One of the things that it's gotten really hot sitting here waiting for us, that I remember my mom making to take for church events, different things. It's really simple to throw it in a crock pot. You can also do it in a pot on the stove if that's better for you. I like these liners when I do put things in my crock pot. This is taco soup. And I'm going to scoop some up here for you to see. It's very simple. Again, thinking about your semi-homemade, your pre-made stuff. It's going to have your ground beef, brown it so that you can put it in there. Then you're going to have a can of corn, a can of beans. You can do black beans, or my family's not as big on the black beans. We do pinto beans, so that's what I put in here. And then a can of your diced tomatoes with green chili. You could also add more green chili, again, if you want a little more spice, if you want a little more heat, to put that in there. Your taco seasoning, a couple cups of beef broth or chicken broth, whatever you prefer, or just water. Calls for 4 cups of water along with those 2 cups of broth. If you want a thicker soup, you can put less. Don't put way less, because obviously if it all cooks off and it burns in your crock pot, that's not a good thing. but you can put a little less than that. So you can see it makes a really hearty soup that you can have now that the evenings are cooling off. I think this is a great way to kind of celebrate. It's got all that nice color from your corn and your tomatoes. If you were taking it to a party, you could serve it in tostada bowls or even just in cups. It's a great one to put in a little plastic cup where the party goers can carry it around with their spoon and eat it up that way. You can grab my lid real quick and just put that back on there for you. Okay, so this is an excellent seasoning to use to make this. You can also use your pre-purchased taco seasoning or break it down and just put in the parts of this that you like, that are the flavors that you prefer. Okay, the next one, and I have just a baby pan today to show you, but these are just ham and cheese sliders. This is one of the simplest things that you can possibly make, and people just love it. It's got that good comfort food coming all together. And so these are just pre-made rolls that I purchased at the grocery store. You slice them open. So you can see I didn't even pull them apart. These are sliced as one big set. You layer in your ham and your cheese. I have Colby Jack. You can use any pepper jack, whatever kind of cheese you prefer. If it's mozzarella Swiss, whatever. Put that in there. You can brush a little butter on top if you would like. Again, that's not completely necessary. It depends on how you want it to toast. Pop it in the oven. Give it at 350. Give it 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how brown you would like it to get. It's going to melt that cheese in. It's going to be nice and warm, something toasty you can serve. And then when you get somewhere, you can just cut them apart. People grab their little sandwich and go. But it's a hot ham and cheese. And so people tend to really enjoy that. I'm going to tell on myself. And the reason that you're getting to see the small pan, because when you put them in the oven and then you get a phone call from the office that you take and don't get them pulled out in time, this is what's going to happen. The great thing about this, these had some butter on top, and so it got dark, but because of the nature of that bread, because it was the pre-baked bread, they're still soft. This is not hard, crunchy at all. They're still edible and they're good. They don't have a burnt taste to them. So now instead of taking them somewhere, I still wouldn't want to take them necessarily to a party looking like this, but my family will get to eat them because, you know, they get all the mistakes, right? So just be able to think about when you do start to put these things together, how your time is going to work and how you can better manage those things. So again, these were pre-made rolls. You can make, if you make your own, if you want homemade rolls to do that, go ahead and bake them, have them ready, slice them, ham and cheese, and then bake. So when you put the butter on the top, you can add a little kick. You can sprinkle on some of this taco seasoning, or if you prefer, we're going to talk for the next round. I actually think it's in 2 different sets, but we're going to talk about, for some sides, some Italian and some ranch seasoning that you can make and put together that you could sprinkle on the top of these and give them that little extra something when you take them to share. Okay, and so finally, this last little bit over here, these are what we would call just seasoned saltines. Okay, how much you guys can tell. These are just plain old saltine crackers laid out on the pan, brushed with olive oil, and sprinkled with whatever type of seasoning you prefer. So again, you could use your taco seasoning if that's the flavor that you like the best. What I have on these today is it's an Italian seasoning blend that's got your parsley and your oregano and all of that stuff in it to give those just that little bit of kick. And then you pop these in the oven, about 400, 20 to 30 minutes, and that may be longer. Kind of watch them, because you do want them to get this nice toasty brown color to have that nice crisp pop when you get ready to eat them. But these make an excellent snack. Again, you're going to want to store them in an airtight container, put them in a pretty bowl, put them on a pretty plate, take them to the party. People are going to be just awed and amazed. They'll think it's something that you bought completely made at the store like that, and be so impressed with what you've done, and you started with a pre-made cracker. So semi-homemade is a wonderful thing to think about in your time, how you're putting things together for your family, how you can, in some cases, like for this, save money how you can adapt it to be what you need nutritionally. Maybe it's cutting back on the sodium or the fat or some other issue that you have. Maybe you have an allergy. I know a lot of people with an onion allergy. So you're going to leave that onion powder out, but you can still have your nice zesty taco flavor in your seasoning mix. Okay, so the other handout, the other publication that I'd like to recommend to you this time, this is called In a Pinch. Last time we talked about food substitutions. This one is food yields. So as you're planning and making your menu and you see a recipe and you think, oh, that's a great idea, I really want to try that with your pre-made items, you can refer to this. And so it talks about things like how many cups of grated cheese are in a block. So that you can figure out, oh, if I need 2 cups of grated cheese, what size block do I need to purchase to do that? Okay, so those are the types of things that are going to be included in this one. Again, you can go through our website. What you can also do on our website is sign up for my newsletter. It comes out every couple of months. It includes all the recipes that you're going to see in these series, as well as going-ons and things around the county that we can share with you. You can go to our website, curryextension.nmsu.edu. You can submit a question that we can answer in that newsletter, or we can get back to you with a phone call or an email. You can also always call our office. Now, we still are under some restrictions due to COVID right now, but we are open. Please come by and see us, but we're restricted as to how many people we can have at a time in our office. So if there's someone specific you need to speak to, do please call, make an appointment, and let us know you're coming so we can make sure that we're there to greet you properly when that happens. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you found something that you can use, that you can take out as we move into fall and we move into family time. Some of these would not travel as well, but one thing with the crackers, if you pack them up nicely, you could even ship those to someone to share. So think about those things. I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Extension Office, and I will see you next time.